Welcome to Real Magic. I'm Avriel, and my co-host is
Mae West, Jane Mansfield personified.
But it's Mary. We're doing blonde bombshells. We thought that would be a great topic. So we're all dressed up. You have your boa, I have my fur, and we're wearing our diamonds. So stereotypically, blonde bombshells were known to be curvaceous
And blonde.
And not very intelligent.
But they were full of empowerment and sass.
That is true. However, in this show, we're going to prove the intelligent part false. Because most of these blonde bombshells were very intelligent. So we're going to cover 4. Jean Harlow, Mae West, Marilyn Monroe, and Jane Mansfield. So I'm going to start.
Okay.
I'm going to start with Jean Harlow Carpenter. She was born March 3rd, 1911. And her father was a dentist, and her mother was a very, very wealthy real estate entrepreneur. So there was money there. During her childhood, she lived in Kansas City, and that's where she grew up. Her parents got divorced because her mother had wishes of her own to become a star.
You know what's interesting? Because in some of mine, same thing. The mother wanted to be a star.
Was the force behind the child.
Yeah.
Exactly. They moved to L.A. for the mother's career, which her mother at that time was 36 years old.
And what period are we in now?
Well, we're in the 30s.
30s, okay.
30s. At 16, she eloped with a businessman named Charles McGrew. But the marriage ended when she pursued acting. Harlow, during her childhood, suffered from very poor health. At 5, she had meningitis, and then at 15, she got scarlet fever. And as all of you know, scarlet fever can affect your heart. Again, her mother had aspirations of becoming a great actress, and she divorced. She took Jean to Hollywood. Jean found work as an extra in bits, parts. And I have a clip in 1929 with Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy in Double Whoopee. So let's take a look. came with Howard Hughes. He had revamped Hell's Angels because that was made years ago.
Not the motorcycle.
No. In 1930. Hughes sold her contract to MGM, where she met Paul Byrne. She married him.
So that's number 2.
Number 2. And the marriage didn't last very long because Byrne committed suicide.
Oh, my goodness.
By gunshot. Jean Harlow started blonde bombshell craze when she appeared in 1931 in Platinum Blonde. I think I have a clip of that also. So after that film, every woman ran to the drugstore to get peroxide. Being platinum blonde was a craze, and everybody wanted Harlow's tresses. The original phrase, blonde bombshell, came from her hairdresser, Max Factor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In 1932, she paired with Clark Gable in John Ford's Red Dust, the second of 6 films she did with Clark Gable. The film was completed in 4 days.
Oh, wow.
At the cost of $408,000.
That was probably a lot of money back then.
I'm sure, but not.
For 4 days.
Yeah. And she claimed never to wear underwear. So now she started to get followings. In 1933, Jean made Dinner at 8. And I have a clip of the final scene of that movie.
I was reading a book the other day.
Reading a book?
Yes, it's all about civilization or something. A nutty kind of a book. Do you know that the guy says that machinery is going to take the place of every profession?
Oh, my dear. That's something you need never worry about.
See, I want to sit next to Oliver. Oliver, where are you?
It proved to be a success and cemented Jean as a superstar. Harlow had another brief marriage with cinematographer Harold Rawson, we're up to 3 now, followed by an affair with William Powell.
Oh.
You know William Powell. I love William Powell, the thin man. I just loved him. I will say William Powell was 27 years older than she.
Wow.
But she really did love him.
She was married at the time, though.
Yes. Acclaim came for her acting and allure and comedic talent. Notably, in the 1933, Harlow starred in Bombshell. I also have the trailer of that I'd like you to see.
That door being unlocked.
Hello, sugar. Who put all the prune whip on your pan?
I feel a slight draft, Loretta, but go ahead.
What's the idea of getting in that barrel?
Wait a minute. Don't tell me. Let me think.
One at a time, please. Don't crowd. Step right up, folks. In the next tent, we have Lola Burns, the girl who actually thinks while thousands cheer.
Hey, Lola.
You get out of here with your cheap wisecracks.
I wasn't in there in the first place.
You fool.
Come on, Lola. How about you and me ending this cat and dog fight, huh?
Gee, I'd like to, Space.
Give him a break, will you, Lola? He's not a bad guy for a publicity man.
That's just it. We used to have a lot of fun, but ever since I began to make a name for myself, he's been double-crossing me with his rotten publicity. He's nothing...
He's seen to it that Lola Burns is a family slogan from Kokomo, Indiana to the Khyber Pass. Strong men take one look at your picture, go home and kiss their wives for the first time in 10 years. You're an international tonic. You're a boon to repopulation in a world thinned out by war and famine. You're
That's
the one...
all very funny. But how do you think I enjoy reading all that scandal that hasn't an ounce of truth in it?
I've told you, sugar. It isn't what you like to read, it's what the public likes to read. They see in these scarlet letter lily of the street parts.
I'm sick and tired of playing unladylike parts and of your undignified publicity. And I'm going to tell Mr. Gillette about it.
Don't blame me, I'm only doing my job. Hey, how about you and me going to the Coconut Grove tonight? It's collegiate night or something like that. I'll dig up a frat pin and we'll pretend we're 17 again. What do you say, huh?
I'm sorry, but I'm going with somebody else.
Oh.
Well, gosh, Space, you don't ask me till the last minute. How was I to know?
Why don't you tell him you got to work? Tell him you sprained your ankle. Tell him you got Klieg eyes or something.
I can't, Space.
Oh, go ahead. I'll break a story in the afternoon edition just to prove it, huh?
See, that's just typical. Another lie.
Who are you going with?
A friend of mine.
Oh. That Marquis, huh?
Yes, if you have to know.
Oh, gee, Lola, what's the idea in running around with that rummage sale Romeo?
Did I insult Alice Cole when she had you making calf's eyes at her? Why don't you take her with you tonight?
Alice Cole is now a respectable married woman, and she hates my insides.
Yes, well, Hugo happens to be a charming gentleman.
Just because a guy with an Ellis Island accent happens to have a dress suit with a hair ribbon across his chest, you dames get a pedigree and start reaching for the diamond tiara.
What's the next line, Loretta?
What are you going to do, write him off your income tax? Why don't you ask Georgia Mansfield or Thelma Joyce how much she mooched out of them?
Excuse the noise, Loretta. We seem to be passing the stockyard.
Oh. Listen, Sugar, I know I'm no prize out of a Cracker Jack box, but at least I don't allow a procession of dames to lead me around by the nose.
That's because somebody forgot to put a ring in it.
During the filming of Saratoga in 1937, she was hospitalized for uremic poisoning. She died June 7th of cerebral edema at age 26.
Wow.
The one thing I just want to note is during the 50s and 60s, which you're going to cover, they were called the 3 M's, and that was Marilyn Monroe, Jane Mansfield, and Mamie Van Buren.
We didn't do Mamie, though.
No, we didn't.
No.
We picked 4. It's
Yeah.
good. Okay. I hand the baton to you.
Okay, guys in the control room. When I'm good, I'm very good. But when I'm bad, I'm better. I can't do her voice, but she was the queen of the one-liners, and that's Mae West. Mae West was born in 1893 in Brooklyn, New York, and she lived to the age of 88, but that's debatable because Mae West likes to stretch the truth. And we don't know the exact year that she was born, but we're going to give her the benefit that she lived to the age of 88, and her career spanned 7 decades. She was an actress, a singer, and a writer of her own work.
Writer.
Because this way, she could say what she wanted to say in her movies and on Broadway. She got her start at age 5. Oh, this is going to get in my face.
But you look so pretty.
Oh, thank you.
She looks so platinum.
At age 5 in burlesque. And her father was a boxer, and her mother, very similar to
Jean Harlow.
Thank you. Jean Harlow wanted to be an actress too. And she didn't have the best upbringing, and there was a lot of contention and things like that. So let me just check my notes here. In 1911, at a very early age, she married Frank Wallace, and you'll see, I have a clip that is up there, and that's Mae West and Frank Wallace.
How old was she?
She was young. Okay, she was roughly in her teens when she got married. Very similar. You're going to see these women got married very early.
Yeah, yeah.
I think to escape the home life, and they usually married men who would further their career for the most part. Like Frank Wallace was in show business, and she stayed married to him till 1942, but kept the marriage a secret, and they never consummated their marriage, and it was just a marriage of convenience. But simultaneously, she was also married to Guido Diero from 1914 to 1920. So there's a period where she appeared to have been married to 2 people. But when she married Guido in Italy, that probably was, now I don't know Italian law and I don't know American law, maybe not recognized here in the United States.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
When you say Mae West, I always picture a very Zoftic woman.
She was.
Not anyone that was like a size 2 or a 4.
No, she was. That was so unusual about Mae West, is that she was voluptuous in the term of voluptuous. She was very curvaceous, but she was definitely not thin. Okay, and Mae West also was very controversial in that she wrote a play called Sex, and in that she played a hooker, and she was looking for a husband and to get out of her career. But in the process, she
Use that career.
used that career. But in the process, she was arrested for the morality of the play because it was, if you knew Mae West, she didn't hold back. And remember, I said she wrote her own plays and her own lines. So you'll see a photo of her in the jail wagon coming out of jail, and she was in prison for 10 days. Another interesting fact about Mae West is probably she was as tall as you are. I don't know.
That means 5 feet.
That's exactly right. She was 5 feet tall. But if you see Mae West in a movie, she looks like she's much taller than she is. And you're going to see now on the screen her shoes. And she actually wore 6-inch platform shoes. And when you see these shoes, they've got to be tortuous to wear.
Right.
And that's why she had that kind of sway when she was walking.
Yeah.
Because her feet hurt from the shoes.
Yeah. You know, I forgot to tell you about Jean Harlow. Jean Harlow was 5 feet.
Okay.
But she wore a size 3.5 shoe.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Go ahead. Just
that's
because
fine.
you brought up your footwear.
Yeah, but the shoes, when you see them, they look torturous, as you can see from the photo. Finally, she got hooked into Paramount and got a movie contract with Paramount. And what was interesting, whoever was the head of the studio back then made roughly $399,000. And Mae West said, yeah, you can have me. And she was very popular at that time because she was controversial, and controversial breeds popularity, especially when you're dealing with the morality of that time. And she said, he made $399,000, you pay me $400,000 and you get a deal with me. And that was in 1934. Now, if I take that $400,000 and bring it to present value, that was $7.5 million they paid her for a contract to do movies. What's interesting about Mae West is she launched Cary Grant's career in a movie called I'm No Angel. And what happened, Mae West saw Cary Grant walking through the studio at Paramount on a lot, and she says to the director of the movie, who's that guy? And he goes, oh, he's nothing, he's a bit actor, he's just good looking, that's it. She says, I want him, he's my lead man, and that launched Cary Grant's career.
Interesting.
Yep. As I said, Mae West was the queen, my boa, the queen of the one-liners. As I said, her most famous line is, well, there's two. Her most famous line is, why don't you come up and see me sometime? Okay. So now we're going to play a clip of, it's about 2 minutes, of all the famous one-liners that Mae West knew and said and is remembered for. And you're going to see a lot of them are very familiar.
Well, when I'm good, I'm very good. But when I'm bad, I'm better.
I see a man in your life.
What, only one?
I changed my mind.
Yeah, does it work any better? Oh, well, I'm caught between two evils. I generally like to take the one I never tried.
Take care of these men.
Yes, give them all my address.
I am delighted. I have heard so much about you.
Yeah, but you can't prove it.
Haven't you ever met a man that could make you happy?
Sure. Lots of times.
What kind of husband does you think I should get?
I should take a single man, leave the husbands alone.
Well, I can always tell a lady when I see one.
Yeah, what do you tell them?
I had a shoot a lion once.
Really? Was he mad?
Well, he wasn't exactly pleased about it.
You were wonderful tonight.
I'm always wonderful at night.
Aren't you forgetting that you're married?
I'm doing my best. What's the good of resisting temptation? There'll always be more.
Well, I wish you'd forget your principles, Ruby. I must have you. Your golden hair, your fascinating eyes, and alluring smile, and lovely arms, your form divine.
Wait a minute. Is this a proposal or you take an inventory?
You certainly know the way to a man's heart.
Funny, too, because I don't know how to cook.
I'm sorry you think more of your diamonds than you do of your soul.
I'm sorry you think more of my soul than you do of my diamonds.
Do I bother you if I look over your shoulder?
No, do I bother you?
I'll never forget you.
No one ever does.
Well, it's better to be looked over than overlooked.
Great town, St. Louis. You were born there?
Yes.
What part?
Why, all of me.
What'd you do? Get your hair cut or have your ears moved down?
You know I've been mad about you from the first time I laid eyes on you. Well, you're my whole world. What do you want to do, drive me to a madhouse?
No, I'll call you a taxi.
Young lady, are you trying to show contempt for this court?
No, I'm doing my best to hide it.
I wonder what kind of a woman you really are.
Too bad, but I can't give out samples.
don't you come up sometime and see me?
Now, Mae West continued to, well, she eventually got too old for movies. She was in her 40s when she started her career, which in today's Hollywood scene, 40 is ancient for a movie star. But she continued to have shows on Broadway. And what she would do is surround herself with muscle men, athletes, muscle, well-stocked guys, and she would, go on, talk to them and come on to them and stuff. And if there were ever any women in the chorus, they were forced to dye their hair black, color their skin, and darken their teeth because she wanted to be the only blonde bombshell and look like an angel when she came out on the set. So those are the little things, little tricks that were Mae West's idiosyncrasy. Like a lot of these bombshells, she was also a recluse. She lived in the Rosemont Hotel in Hollywood, California, and she actually had her phone number in the phone book, and she would answer her own phone. So you could actually call Mae West at the Rosemont, but she very seldom left. My phone is ringing. She very seldom left her home, and she was big into psychics. There is a little, I don't have the clip of that, but there is a little movie she was in where she dealt with psychics, and she felt that she missed her mother so much she tried to channel her mother. And they say that the Rosemont is haunted by Mae West's guests through the corridors, and that she's occasionally seen in the Rosemont, which still is an apartment in Hollywood, California to this day. She also made a movie called Sextet when she was 87 years old.
Oh my goodness.
And it has the most eclectic cast like you would believe. And in it, she plays a woman who's been married 7 times, and she's trying to consummate the 7th marriage, okay, with her husband, but all of her 6 former spouses, keep interrupting their honeymoon. And we're going to see a little clip of how controversial this movie was back in the time, but how it represents a positive representation of an American woman. So let's look at that clip.
Look out, Alexei. I'm going down.
And one other thing you're going to see when I talk about Jane Mansfield, how Mae West and Jane Mansfield's paths crossed. Okay, so that's my little Mae West.
Very good, very good. Okay, I'm going to tell you about Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe, I think we all know, was born as Norma Jean Baker. She was born June 1st, 1926, and grew up in the heart of Hollywood. She was an illegitimate child, never knowing really who her father was. But in the 1980s, DNA testing was able to prove that Sammy Gifford was her real father. She was always troubled by never being wanted and always feeling as a failure. So her life was not good. Her mother was Gladys Baker, who had a history of mental illness, and she was confined years and years to a mental hospital. So Marilyn always yearned for the love of a father. And the next 7 years of her life, she shuffled between foster homes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, foster homes and orphanages. And a law in California said that you have to stay in an orphanage until you're 18 years old. So in order to escape,
she got married?
She got married. She was almost 16, not quite 16, to Jim Dougherty. She never had any girlfriends because all the girlfriends were afraid because she was so beautiful that she would take their boyfriends from themselves. So she didn't have many friends at all. I think I have a picture of their marriage, and I have a picture of their marriage license, which was June 19th, 1942. After 2 years, World War II, her husband was taken to the South Pacific, Again, Norma Jean felt abandoned. She was alone all over again. He was 21 years old and she was 16. And she was a child. She worked on an assembly line during the war, making target wings. A photo to promote the war effort was taken of her, and that photo started her modeling career and contract. And I do have a photo of that, her working on the assembly line. It's funny how things just panned out. And her life was changed forever. She quit her job and took modeling and drama lessons. When Jim returned from the war, he wanted her to stay home like a homebody, but she really wanted to pursue her career. So they got a divorce, and she changed her name to Marilyn from 20th century, really to mimic Marilyn Miller. And she took the name Monroe. That was her mother's maiden name. So hence Marilyn Monroe. But I do want to tell you that Marilyn Monroe was just a means for her to make money. She was quite the opposite of what her persona said. She was very shy, very insecure person. And she always sought love and affection. In 1950, Marilyn was paid $75 a week then. Can you imagine?
No.
In 1950, she made a commercial for Union Oil. It was her first commercial. And I have that commercial for you to see.
Take jobs on the edges of show business.
This is the first car I ever owned. I call her Cynthia. She's going to have the best care a car ever had. Put Royal Triton in Cynthia's little tummy.
Right, lady.
Cynthia will just love that Royal Triton.
Columbia Pictures cast her in Ladies of the Chorus. They dropped her because her acting was so terrible, so she returned to modeling. And at that time, a photographer called Tom Kelly bribed her to take a picture for calendar art. And it was a nude picture. But Marilyn was so hard up for money at that time, she accepted it. The picture was taken, and I will tell you, she was paid $50 for that picture of being nude. And in 1953, that picture was used as the cover of Playboy. So she studied acting, and her goal was to be taken as a serious actor, which was really quite difficult with the parts she was playing. In 1950, she starred in Asphalt Jungle, and I have the trailer, so take a look.
Only the author of Little Caesar could tell so dramatic a story. Only the director of The Treasure of Sierra Madre could film it with such power. Only once in a decade does the screen come up with such absorbing characters. Sterling Hayden as Dix Handley, a hooligan with a twisted dream. Jean Hagen as Doll, the dime-a-dance dame who wanted to share that shabby dream.
Let me go with you. Please, Dix, please.
Are you crazy? I'm on the lam. I'm wanted bad, packing heat. If there's any trouble, what good would you be?
I could drive.
No, Doll. I'm wanted on a killing rap. You know what that means.
I don't care. I just want to be with you.
Louis Calhern as Emmerich, the big-time mouthpiece with crime on his mind.
Oh, I suppose a fella should stick to his own trade, but I know some pretty big men around here that might not be averse to a deal like this if they're properly approached. Highly respectable men, I might add.
Sam Jaffe as Doc. He's got $1 million in that little black bag, and a jitterbug cost him every dime of it. Marilyn Monroe as Angela, the easy-living, green-eyed blonde.
Haven't you bothered me enough, you big banana head? Just try breaking my door, and Mr. Emmerich will throw you out of the house.
James Whitmore as Gus, the strong-arm boy. A right guy in a wrong world.
Stop! Come on! Bring out! You ain't close! You haven't seen him or anything! You're gonna wind up for your pal You're gonna wind up in the morgue!
And that same year, she made All About Eve. I mean, constantly, well, that's what she wanted. She wanted to be known for her acting and not her sensuality. Fan mail came in, and the public just loved her, And they loved her because she was vulnerable, she was charismatic, but on set, people made fun of her persona, the way she walked and the way she talked. So she was made fun of. However, she was thought of being very, very bright because she had a private library that had books of philosophy and art and inventions. Now, no IQ test was taken, but they feel just by all the books that she read that she was extremely bright. In 1953, she was awarded Best New Star by Photoplay magazine, and I have a little picture of that also. Audiences were just drawn to her, just for who she was. And who also was drawn to her was a baseball player called Joe DiMaggio.
Said that was her true love.
True love. In 1953, she made Niagara, and I have a trailer for that as also. That was a good movie.
Take me in your arms.
She sang of love just as she lived for love, like a Lorelei, flaunting her charms as she lured men on and on to their eternal destruction. And her own husband was no exception.
It's getting late. Hand me my slip.
I hate to move when we have a fight. Never want to leave your side.
Get me some orange juice, Georgie.
It's Marilyn Monroe skyrocketing to new dramatic heights. When a man took her loveliness in his arms, he took his life in his hands. Joseph Cotton, helpless in her siren spell. Jean Peters, caught in the destructive whirlpool of another's deceit.
And parading around showing herself off in that dress, cut down so low in front you could see her kneecaps.
She's a pretty girl. Why hide it?
Don't worry about that. She'd like to wear that dress where everybody could see her, right in the middle of the Yankee Stadium. Smell like a dime store. I know what that means.
Sure. I'm meeting somebody. Just anybody handy, as long as he's a man.
But she could never be his, nor any man's, completely. And that thought whipped him into a frenzy that makes the screen thunder with unparalleled suspense.
Hello, hello, please.
You'll be torn to pieces.
And in '53, she was invited to Grumman's Chinese Theater, and I have a picture of her putting her hands in the cement. She was a goddess on the silver screen. In 1953, she did so many pictures. Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. During filming of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Jane Russell was also the star. And Jane Russell was given her own private dressing room. Marilyn Monroe was not.
Oh, wow.
So Marilyn Monroe spoke up. She was not shy. She spoke up and said, I deserve the same as...
I wonder if they had the same pay. Probably not.
Probably not, of course not. And she wanted to remove that dumb blonde stigma, and she took more drama lessons, and she took it with Lee Strasberg.
Wow.
After 2 years of dating Joe DiMaggio, they were married, and they honeymooned in Japan.
That's number 2?
Yeah. 1954, she did the 7-year itch. Do you know what that is? That's that famous skirt scene.
Yeah, the red dress, yeah.
Skirt blows up. It was a white dress.
Oh, white, sorry, wrong color.
Yeah, over the subway.
Yeah.
That blew it up.
Yeah.
And you know what? I went to, in my travels, in some of the islands, they have these huge models of her that are like maybe 12 feet high of that scene with her dress being blown up. Well, Joe DiMaggio was very straight-laced businessman, very honorable, and he became very jealous. Very jealous that she would show her body off to people and they would interpret her as just being sexual. And he didn't like that. So they were divorced after a while. She did, in 1956, she did Bus Stop.
Another good movie.
Another very good movie. And that was with playwright Arthur Miller.
I think they were involved too.
3.
Yeah, married, yeah.
3. They get married in July 1956. Marilyn wanted children desperately. I mean, just to have a family, because from the orphanages and just her past and her mother having these issues with mental health, she had 2 miscarriages and was never able to ever have children and go to, With the failed pregnancies and erratic behavior, she became very depressed at age 34. Her marriage ended, and in 1959 she did Some Like It Hot. And it was very hard for any of the public to take her seriously because these are all very sexual parts. In the midst of their breakup, Arthur Miller wrote Misfits with Clark Gable. The film wrapped, and then Clark Gable died in 1961. Marilyn Monroe was blamed for it because, well, she was always late to set because she was so insecure. She'd come to set an hour, 2 hours late, sometimes never. And Clark Gable felt very stressed over this. He was such a professional. So when he died, a lot of the public blamed his death on her. So that weighed on her mind as well. And that was all rumor, but it could have been.
She was depressed to begin with. So
yes,
this is going to send her over the edge.
Yeah. She slipped from reality, and she was locked in a mental institution for a while. One movie that she never finished was Something's Gotta Give. How appropriate. Yeah. Something's Gotta Give, huh? At age 36, her world was just falling apart. It was falling apart. She took to alcohol. She was forced to be, because of the alcoholism, she was late on the set all the time and just not going. The 2 miscarriages, her 3rd divorce, she had a nervous breakdown. And she was just totally disabled by all of it. She took a time out from her 30th film.
Oh my goodness.
To sing Happy Birthday to the President of the United States. And I have a clip of that. And in the clip, you'll see the announcer keep saying, and here is Marilyn Monroe, and here is Marilyn Monroe. She was late also getting onto the stage for that, right.
Mr. President, on this occasion of your birthday, this lovely lady is not only punctilious, but punctual. Mr. President, Marilyn Monroe. Perhaps there has been no one female who meant so much, who has done more. Mr. President, the late Marilyn Monroe.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you. Thanks, Mr. President, for all the things you've done, the battles that you've won, the way you deal with U.S. Steel and our problems by the ton. We thank you so much. Everybody, happy birthday!
Thank you. I can now retire from politics after having had happy birthday sung to me in such a sweet, open way.
And that took place in Madison Square Garden. Unfortunately, Marilyn was found dead in her hotel room. Rumor says sleeping pills, and it was August 5th, 1962. Now, if you know any of the past of Marilyn Monroe, and I really was not even going to mention it, there were rumors that there were affairs with Jack Kennedy and Robert Kennedy, and that also that the mob was involved because the Kennedys were going after the mob. So there were rumors about her death, but just to honor her, I would honor her, she's dead, but just to say she died from an overdose of sleeping pills. As I said, Marilyn Monroe's IQ was very, very high, and we miss her. So it's the conclusion because of all her reading and the philosophy that she was bright, and she had remarkable appeal, and her vulnerability is what the public loved. And that was Marilyn Monroe.
Well, you know what's interesting is Jane Mansfield, so similar, even in appearance to Marilyn Monroe, and even into her life, as I'm going to explain in a few minutes. But just hearing you say this, it's giving me goosebumps because Jane Mansfield was on the exact same path.
Was she in an orphanage?
No, but her I'll tell you in a second. But okay. She lost her dad young. Mm-hmm. But you'll see in a second. But I got goosebumps.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jane Mansfield. She was born Vera Jane Palmer in April of 1933, and she died in June 1967 at the age of 34. And she was known in Hollywood as the smartest dumb blonde because it's rumored that Jane Mansfield had an IQ of 163.
Which was higher than Einstein.
Yes, she was quite I'm going to show a movie, video clip. It's a couple minutes of from a movie called The Girl Can't Help It, in which you're going to see her famous walk. And in it, the milk boils over, the guy's glasses crack, etc. It's up because of her curvaceous figure. She was like 43, 21, 36 in her body measurements, although she would never admit to it. So let's watch that clip and you'll see what happens.
Get some morning paper, ma'am?
No, thanks, Sonny. Can you tell me where I can find 341?
341? Second brownstone, ma'am.
Thanks, Sonny.
Can't help it, the girl can't help it. Can't help it, the girl can't help it. If she walks by, the mean folks say to go. Can't help it, the girl can't help it. If she winks an eye, the red lights turn to toes. Can't help it, the girl can't help it. If she got a lot, or what they call the mo. Can't help it, the girl can't help it. The girl can't help it, she was born to please. Can't help it, the girl can't help it. If she's got a figure made to squeeze. Can't help it, the girl can't help it. I want you to kindly be aware, the girl can't help it. The girl can't help it.
Oh, and even there's a young kid that whistles at her that's like 10 years old. It's really cute. What's interesting is she was born in Phillipsburg, New Jersey. So she's a native New Jersey. She was a native New Jerseyan. Now, what's interesting here is that her dad died in a car accident when she was 3 years old. And we all know that Jane Mansfield died in a car accident. So look at the parallels right there. She was in the car when he died. And like Marilyn, Jane got married at the age of 16 because she was pregnant. And she got married to a gentleman who she stayed married with, and it didn't work out too well.
Was he the father?
Yeah, the father of her child, yes. And I just want to make sure I don't go over anything. Okay, now when I talked about Mae West, I said that their paths crossed for some strange reason. So after Jane divorced her husband, she was at a show in New York with Mae West and her muscle men, and one of the muscle men was Mickey Haggerty. And that was the true love, like Joe DiMaggio, of Jane Mansfield. And when Jane saw him on stage, she met him, and they were inseparable since that part. So you're going to see that even Mickey Haggerty was a very interesting person. Her husband, I know we're not going to talk too much about him, but he was a bodybuilder at a very late age. He was an adagio dancer, and you're going to see in this little clip, not a clip, but a photo of Jane and Mickey in these leopard outfits. And you can see where he was an adagio dancer and a bodybuilder based on what you see in that little photo. All right, so like Marilyn, she wanted to be a serious actress but could not be taken seriously. And she tried out for a play, and she read the screenplay for Joan of Arc. And obviously she did not look like Joan of Arc, so she didn't get casted, but a director took advantage of her and said to her, "You have obvious talent, so we need to make you a blonde and make you curvaceous and play on that." And she agreed to that because, like Marilyn, she wanted to get her foot in the door, and they had to use their natural assets to do that. It's a shame, but that's what happened.
Right.
Like Marilyn, she also posed in Playboy.
Nude?
Yes, completely nude, more than once. Okay, she was in Playboy, I think, like from the 50s, 3 or 4 times in Playboy. So in 1956, she was signed to 20th Century Fox because Marilyn Monroe was difficult at that time, and she looked very similar in appearance to Marilyn Monroe, and she was advertised as Marilyn Monroe king size.
The tall.
Yeah, king size meaning even bigger than Marilyn Monroe. More of a look
bigger than life.
Yes, bigger than Marilyn there. So she married Mickey Haggerty in 1956. And as I said, they met at Mae West's show, which I thought was kind of ironic at that point in time. She had, in reality, in life, she had 5 children. She had 1 with her first husband when she was 16 years old. She had 3 with Mickey Haggerty, and 1 when she, like most of these people, she was married 3 or 4 times. 1 later in life with an attorney, which she actually was not married to. But what's interesting about Jane is she was a persona bigger than life, and pink and hearts were her favorite colors.
Oh, really?
Yes. So she lived in Hollywood, and I'm going to talk over a bunch of the photos now that show her home because it's quite an unusual home. So let me just get my little cheat sheet out here, and we did have a picture though of Jane before I get into that. Jane before I get into the home situation of her with her 5 children. So let's talk about the Pink Palace in Hollywood. The first photo you're going to see is of, Mariska and, not Mariska, Haggerty and her husband in the Pink Palace. And then you're going to see a photo of the Pink Palace. Now, what's interesting is they had a heart-shaped pool that was pink, and on the bottom it said, "I love Jane," written into the cement on the pool, and that was pink.
So the outside of the exterior was pink?
Pink, yes. You'll see that in the photo. Everything was pink. It was the Pink Palace. She had, the next photo is most interesting, is the bathroom. She's in a tub, but the whole bathroom is pink. She had pink carpeting on the ceilings, on the wall, like a shag carpeting. It was big in that time, you remember the shag carpet, but all pink. The whole bathroom was carpeted in pink shag carpeting. Then she had a heart-shaped fireplace. The actual frame of the fireplace was carved like a heart. And then she had a heart-shaped pool, which we talked about, and then she had a beautiful piano, and the piano I'm going to talk about a little bit later on, and just remember that in the back of your mind, because that piano is very important to this whole story with that. Now, I talked about Jane being very accomplished. She spoke 5 languages. She played the violin and she played the piano like Carnegie Hall could have played there. And what you're going to see is a clip from the Ed Sullivan Show, an actual video clip of both her playing the piano on Ed Sullivan, and you're going to be blown away, and her playing the violin. So let's watch those clips.
We're about to present to you a girl who can out-violin Jack Benny. And actually she did it because in this coming issue of Saturday Evening Post, they've got a story about Jane Mansfield. But because her mother made a practice, our Vera, we now take you to the coast for her violin debut. Jane Mansfield.
Accomplished because I did see that clip, and I mean she could have been a professional musician.
Yeah, either on
without
the piano
question.
or the violin.
Yeah.
Okay, checking my notes.
We're out of the house.
Yeah, I know, we're out of the house. Now, what happened to Jane? Very similar to Marilyn. She had many an affair while she was even married to Mickey Haggerty. Mickey Haggerty had trouble dealing with her fame, and they eventually divorced over her affairs, basically. And then she got in a couple very bad relationships. She married another gentleman, and she married a director, and she kind of did these marriages to promote her own career, because at this point in time, her career was starting to go downhill because, like Marilyn, she did drugs. Like Marilyn,
really,
she was an alcoholic, and like Marilyn, deep into depression. So her career was suffering, and this guy abused her to no end, and she eventually divorced him, but she had her 5th child with him. Then she got involved with an attorney, and the same thing. The attorney, at this point in time, she was doing supper clubs kind of acting. She was not seen on the screen at all, not like Mae West, who had all those 7 decades. And it was this attorney that she was with when she passed. Now, I want to set the scene on the automobile accident. She had just been in Biloxi, Mississippi, doing a show, and they were on our way to New Orleans. And her children, she was sitting in the back seat with her 3 of her children, and in the process, to make the children go to sleep, she moved to the front seat of the car. And on the way, they hit a truck. They went underneath the truck that was spraying for mosquitoes on a highway right outside of New Orleans. And she was not decapitated, as the rumors had it. What actually was pieces of her blonde hair were in the windshield I know, it's horrible. But there is, when you look at tractor trailers, and when everybody who's on the highway sees a tractor trailer, there's a bar that goes around the backside of a tractor trailer, right below, right where the wheels are, and that's called the Mansfield Bar, because that was instrumental to stop people's cars from going underneath trucks, which caused them. The 3 children lived, and what was interesting is Mariska Haggerty was in the car at that time, and her 2 brothers that were Mickey's children. And when let me just think what happened. Okay, one of the brothers, when he woke up in the hospital, said, where's Mariska? Where's Mariska? And they didn't realize the child, Mariska, at that time was 3 years old, and she was under the passenger seat, and they didn't realize she was in the car, and they went back and got her and saved her life. Yeah, this was just a tragic, horrible way to pass away. So Mickey stepped up to the plate and took the children. And the other son, who was with the last love of her, or the attorney rather, went with him. And then the first child was also raised by Mickey, and she had him with the first husband. And there is this wonderful documentary on HBO Max that's phenomenal, called My Mom Jane. And I'm going to do a spoiler now here, so if you don't want to hear the spoiler,
shut the TV.
Shut the TV or silence me for a minute or so. My Mom Jane is just a wonderful documentary highlighting Jane Mansfield as the intelligent person she was, because Mariska denied her mother. She didn't want to be affiliated with the representation of her mother being the blonde bombshell and all of the affairs and all the negative things that Jane Mansfield she remembered. And Mariska was always called Maria in the very beginning. And why am I being called Maria? My name is Mariska. That's what's on my birth certificate. But her brothers would call her Maria. Her sister Jane would call her Maria. So Mariska later goes to the storage unit after Mom had passed and decides, I'm going to go through the things in the storage unit. And she finds another interesting thing. All of her siblings had beautiful baby books written in by her mom, but Mariska's, also known as Maria, had none. It just very, very, unusual. So Mariska's in her 20s when she's doing all this. Now Mariska was just taken back and said, I got to find out what happened. And eventually somebody from a fan club invites her to a party, and she goes to the party, and she finds out that her mom had an affair with Nicholas Sardella.
In Europe.
In Europe. Yeah, in Italy. She was not with Mickey at the time. She was divorced from Mickey. And she had an affair with this gentleman, and Mariska was the result of the affair. But they never hooked up because his Italian pride wouldn't do it.
He stayed out of it because he felt her life was so good as it was in the United States. She also discovered she had 2 stepsisters. That was one. It's a wonderful documentary, and it made me cry. It was just so emotionally well done. And Mariska went to Mickey and said, "Why didn't you tell me this guy was my father?" And he said, "Forget it. I don't want to talk about it." And she kept that secret for a long, long time until she did this. Until she did this documentary. And Jane Mansfield died without a will. So all of her possessions were sold to pay off her debts. Can you imagine? No.
And so the piano. This was what made me cry in the whole movie. There was a photo you'll see of that I showed you before of Jane in front of the piano, and Mariska wanted nothing more than that piano, to find that piano. And it turned out that Engelbert Humperdinck had bought Jane Mansfield's home. So she kept trying to find out from Engelbert, where's the piano, where's the piano, where's the piano? And she was getting nowhere, so she kind of forgot about the piano. One day, she sees the piano outside of her house, her apartment. Her husband bought the piano for her birthday.
Yeah, it was found in a garage, someone's garage. They didn't even realize. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
What a nice story.
Yeah, and you'll see there's a little photo of Jane with Nicholas Sardella, and he was a bit singer dancer and did kind of Las Vegas acts and stuff like that. But you got to watch the documentary because you'll see him in real life.
It is. It's exceptionally good. It's exceptionally good.
Yeah, but I think what we've learned from these women.
Oh, I tell you,
they were not blonde bombshells.
No, all of these blonde bombshells influenced fashion and beauty cementing the image of glamour and desirability. So we're going to toast to the 4 women that we covered. We could have had a show for 2 hours. That's how much we learned.
We learned a lot.
We did. Yeah. We did. To the blondes.
Well, one blonde.
See you next time. Bye-bye. Gabrielle and Mary say bye.